What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY on a schedule release Wednesday morning. That's right. We're live. It's rainy. It's not very nice outside, but we will know by the end of today, and probably long before that, the Eagles' schedule. We know 4 games so far. We'll discuss this and everything else with Pat Egan. Coming up in about, 15 minutes or so, a little bit early in the show, block B of the program. So he's coming up. Shout out to everybody watching live this morning. What's up, everybody? Good morning to all of our 8 a.m.ers. We have a organization. We have a following. We have a cult, I would say, of people that tune in every morning live to watch Philly with John Marks on PHLY. As always, brought to you by PARX. Get to the PARX app right now. Phil's rained out last night. They will try to do a double dip today. The weather does not look good outside, but I did extensive research on the weather forecast for today because my daughter has a field trip that is outside, and it was iffy whether she was going to be able to have it or not. It seems like about 11 a.m. is when the majority of the rain is going to clear. So it does look like that they're going to be able to get this game in. It's going to be wet. I'm glad I'm not going down to the game. And there might be lingering showers and things like that. But it seems like the Phils are going to be able to get in today, which is a good thing. I was lost last night without the Phillies, but then I watched some NBA playoffs. The Pacers have eliminated the Cavs, and OKC is up 3-2 over the Nuggets. So all of that, the Sixers not in it, of course. And, it's amazing. Tyrese Haliburton had a great series with the Pacers, and it just every time I watch the playoffs, I get more and more angry with the 76ers because the Indiana Pacers, ladies and gentlemen, have made an Eastern Conference Finals, and the 76ers have been in one Eastern Conference Final since 1984. Yep, it's been 24 years since they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the Pacers, looks like it's going to be the Knicks and the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's frustrating because this is the the window of opportunity. And as far as the league, I'm not even going to say the league it's a down year because I find this very entertaining, but there's parity in the NBA. And you go through stretches in the NBA where there is no parity, and you know that there's pretty much one or two teams realistically that can probably win it. I could see the Knicks winning it. I really couldn't see the Pacers winning it, but OKC, Minnesota, sure. I mean, this is really, really wide open. Putting it back to the 76ers, yeah. If they would have put this team together perhaps a little bit differently, like instead of trading Ben Simmons for James Harden, if you traded Ben Simmons for Tyrese Haliburton, like reported by many reports was available out there to Daryl Morey, who knows where you are right now, right? You're probably still where you are because Joel Embiid, when his injury is a real thing, and the way he sucks the oxygen out of the room is another thing. So we'll talk about that with Pat Egan as well. But I can't enjoy watching the NBA playoffs, which have been very good, without catching myself and being angry with the 76ers. So Sixers, obviously having the 3rd pick in the draft, and we're going to spend weeks discussing who they should take, which is awesome. There's nothing better than when you have a draft pick that matters, whether it even happens with baseball occasionally, but whether it's the NFL, the NBA, man, like, do you want this guy? Do you want that guy? I prefer this guy. Does he fit better with the team? What are the positives? What are the negatives? So we'll have a fun time kind of discussing and breaking all of that down. So it is schedule day across the NFL. And this portion of the show is brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration, GLATHairMM.com. You can text or call them at 610-980-4000, 610-980-4000. Julia Hoff in today, Tyler on PTO. So he'll be back on Friday. I continue from the home studio until then. Schedule release day. It's amazing how the NFL has kind of cornered the market on creating their own content that has nothing to do with the games, right? Like the offseason. Major League Baseball offseason used to be hot stove talk. A little bit of it now. because a lot of the free agents, it's a waiting game, waiting the market, waiting the market, waiting the market. And then one guy signs and then the dominoes kind of go from there. The NFL, that is not the case with free agency. They institute the tampering period, the legal tampering period, where now guys just sign before the start of free agency. And then free agency officially starts and everything else happens. But from the draft to free agency, now they actually make a television show based on the schedule release. So tonight at 8 p.m., everybody's eyes are going to be glued to the official schedule being released, even though we're probably going to know the schedule before that. Because not through leaks, but through strategic plants or information that's being put out there, the networks want to highlight some of their big games. So the Eagles and the Cowboys open the season Thursday Night Football at Lincoln Financial Field, which is amazing. Monday Night Football wants to make sure they put out there, it's the tush push revenge game, right? Everybody knows that the tush push is, I would say, 95% gone, because the NFL has colluded to make sure that they get rid of the play that can't be stopped by any team in the NFL, screwing the Eagles. And who started the movement? Yes, sir. The Green Bay Packers. Monday Night Football, November 10th. You got the Bears and the Eagles, the special 3 p.m. Black Friday game, which is awesome. And then Eagles Commanders, December 20th. That's week 16. And we don't know the implications to that game until we get to week 16. But like, for all the people that are belly aching and complaining about the primetime games, or, they could play on Christmas, I don't want to play on Christmas. First of all, I don't care if you have season tickets and you don't want to go on Christmas. Just sell your tickets or don't have season tickets. Believe me, I'd be complaining the same way if I have season tickets. That's why I don't have season tickets. And as far as members of the media, if you're in the media and you have to work because the Eagles are playing, there's the last thing I want is a game on Christmas. The last thing I want is a primetime game. I mean, honestly, as a fan, primetime games are tough because then I'm up until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and blah, 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 blah. With being an elite franchise and a great team in the NFL comes responsibility. And part of that responsibility is being on in prime time, having international games like last year in Brazil, opening the season on Thursday Night Football, playing the 3 p.m. game, being on Christmas, right? When you're an elite franchise, which the Eagles are, and you could put the Chiefs, I'll put the Eagles over anybody in the NFL right now. With their track record over the course of the last 8 to 10 years, the track record over the last 20 years, 2 of 3 Super Bowls, and crushing the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl, and their elite roster. This is what's going to happen. So by the time I would say the PHLY Eagles guys are on today, through leaks and through dot connecting and things like that, we're probably going to know most of the Eagles schedule. And there's always somebody out there that has it, and you don't know who it is because it's like, well, who is this guy? Well, it's the guy that has the Eagles schedule somehow, and he puts it out there. And I'm fine with that, because if I don't want to know what's out there, then I can just not look on social media and I can wait till 8 o'clock. I'm not doing that. I have no interest in doing that. We will discuss all of the above with Pat Egan, or Pegan, as I like to call him. Eagles schedule, 76ers, Philly stuff as well. We got a doubleheader today, hopefully, as they wrap up this series against the Cardinals. All right, so we'll do that coming up. Pat Egan on a lot. That's coming up right after this. Philly with John Marks on PHLY. Why? Back at 2-2 right after this. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so let's talk about it. Rothman. Right, I am a somewhat active person, right? And if you're an active person, whether it's golf or tennis or whatever, right? Like I like to go and I like to do my workouts at Orange Theory, right? And like after a couple workouts, the knee starts to get a little bit achy, and then ultimately it's been okay. But what happens if you run or you're playing your favorite sport or you're golfing, and that next day you get out of bed and you're like, oh man, my knee bothered me, my shoulder, my back, whatever it is, whether it's because of sports or not, you don't have to live in pain. And that's why you got to go to Rothman. They specialize in you. And I can speak firsthand. I had a shoulder, and I think that, especially with stubborn men like me, you just want it to go away. And it's, it'll get better. Then I'm Googling things to try to help and diagnose myself and do that physical therapy at home. None of that worked. So after a year, and it finally got so bad that I had to get on like a chair and get tongs to get the cereal off the top of the pantry for the kids. I can't do this anymore. Went to Rothman. One single Rothman appointment took care of everything. One appointment. I wish I would have done it months before. Wrote a script for physical therapy, diagnosed me with a frozen shoulder, and in 6 weeks, I was back to 100%. Haven't had one problem since. So if your joints are aching, if your hands are cramping, maybe it's a back, they have a team, not just a doctor, a team that's laser focused on their specialty. Hip, knee, spine, you name it, they have a team for your body part and right in your backyard. So I went to Rothman and Limerick, right up on my house. 30 plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers across Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And they take care of everything, every service and procedure necessary. X-rays, bracing, MRIs, physical therapy, fracture care. And like, they're the best. They are. Rothman Orthopedics, specializing in orthopedics and you. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more. rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Ooh, all right. Let's talk about flooring. Empire today, flooring experts. You don't want to go to some fugazi place. You're the place around the corner from you. They're like, oh, well, you know, they seem like nice guys. How about this? I'm sure they are nice guys. But so is Empire today. And they live and breathe flooring. It's all they do. This is a whole different ball game with them. Your best bet for a new floor isn't the big box stores where you're wandering the aisles. Piles and piles fill the aisles. Never seen so many styles. But then when you want help, Lou from plumbing comes over and tries to help you because he's a nice guy. But does he really know what the hell he's talking about? Empire today, you're getting the right flooring at the right price, and they're bringing the showroom to your home. Why does that matter? Because if you've picked out flooring or even furniture, this happened to me with furniture. The furniture color looks a lot different in the showroom. They have different lighting. They have professional lighting. They have different flooring. They have different colors on the wall, right? That matters. Bringing the showroom to you, now you're picking the right flooring and the right color for your space with your furniture, with your walls, with your lighting. And they bring it to you, and you're having all your questions answered, and they're getting precise measurements on the spot. It's not a guessing game, everybody. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. Clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. And how about this? $350 off. That's right, $350 discount. Just use the promo code PHLY. Promo code PHLY. Just go to EmpireToday/PHLY. Full details and restrictions to apply. But get that $350 off. EmpireToday.com/PHLY. Hooah. All right, we're back. Late last night, I spoke to my guy, Pat Egan, about all of the above. Here it is. All right, and to discuss, we bring on a man. Is he a man? I guess technically he's a man, but he's also a short man like me. His name is Pat Egan, and he joins us right now. Let's get you a little closer there. What's up, Pat?
I wouldn't say I'm a man, but yeah. Hello. How are you?
No, you're definitely not. So and we'll get to the Sixers coming up in a second. We got to talk about the schedule release, but I'm listed at 5'10". I don't know your listed height.
5'3".
But the 76er, the guy that they're most likely going to draft, he was listed at 6'10". He's not. He's 6'7.5". And that's what I've been trying to tell people for years. It's like, what do you mean you're 5'10"? I'm like, I'm listed at 5'10". They don't get the joke that I'm not really 5'10". I'm embellishing because that's just like basketball players do. They don't get the joke. They never did.
I don't. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I'd rather be 5'3", which I am. Like, that's my legit height, than be like 5'7", 5'8", because I feel like when you're 5'7", 5'8", there's a sense of like, okay, I can probably get away with saying I'm 5'11". When you're 5'3", there's no hiding it. If I add 2 inches, I'm still short as hell.
So you just stay 5'3".
Yeah, I'd rather be 5'3". I'll lie about my weight all day, and I'm 145 pounds, and I'm sticking to that. But my height, no, I'm 5'3".
Well, I'm listed at 5'10" because
and you look every bit of it.
You're damn right I do. All right. Sixers coming up in a second. So schedule release today. And games are already being strategically put out by the networks and things like that. So we know of a couple games that are out there already. And I'm sure as we're speaking right now, more games are getting leaked. It happened yesterday, the Packers Monday night game. Actually, while I was on the air live doing a show, and it isn't like radio where I can check Twitter during the commercial break and then come back because I'm just speaking for an hour straight. So I didn't even know what happened until after I got off the air. And I'm like, oh, so a fourth game's been leaked. But so far, what we know, opening the season home against the Cowboys, which Pat, I'm telling you, they couldn't have done anything. This is the best thing they could have done. Legitimately, you don't need like they were talking about the Bears. Schefter brought up the Bears before, and any of these other big kind of games. Let's get right to it. Let's get the Cowboys first game of the year. Everybody hates the Cowboys. Everybody hates the Eagles. Everybody's going to want to watch, and I'm so excited for Week 1 against the Cowboys. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thrilled for local Cowboys fans in the area who finally get to see a banner raising ceremony.
Nice.
I mean, I think that's really important for them to experience what a winning team does because they haven't had it in 30 plus years. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think this sets up any better for the Eagles. The juice is already going to be there for the Cowboys anyway. But if you're legitimately, if you're a Cowboys fan in the area, this would be the one game I would want to sit out. I wouldn't want any parts of this. You're going to go there and all you're going to hear is VHS. And you're probably going to get your ass kicked because I don't know about you, but even after the Cowboys made the George Pickens trade, I was like, okay, cool. I mean, you've got Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. Like, have fun with that. It doesn't affect me anymore. So even though I think the Cowboys are a decent little team, they're going to come in here and get smacked, and it's going to be a good day for Philadelphia.
I'll worry about the actual game and what's going to happen when it gets closer, like leading up to the game. But it's interesting. I never thought of it that way. With this Eagles defense, like we didn't go into last year thinking this was an elite defense. We went in hoping it was going to be good enough with the Eagles offense, right? Like you don't need the best defense in the league to win. You need a good enough defense that can get stops, that can get sacks, that can get turnovers. And what we learned was this is an elite defense. Now we go into this season, and it's a great point because the Cowboys have performed very well. When Dak's in there, the Cowboys have done very well against the Eagles. They've won more games than they've lost against the Eagles over the last however many years, but that's changed with this defense. You're right. And it'll be interesting to see because I think the Cowboys will be a good team this year. Like you called them a nice little team. It's kind of what they are. No one, they're not winning a Super Bowl. They're not winning playoff games. They're not a true contender. They have enough talent on the team where they can win 10, 11 games. And then once they get to the wild card round or the divisional round, they'll lose. And we'll be laughing at them, and we'll do it all again next year.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting with the Commanders for second place in the division. You brought up the defense thing. I mean, a year ago, think about it. Like, we didn't know what Quinyon Mitchell was because he was a first-round pick, but he was from Toledo. And I know, we all were having the questions of, like, how good could a Toledo quarterback be coming in here? Cooper DeJean didn't even play preseason because he was injured. He didn't get a starting job until, week 3 when Avonte Maddox was terrible. Most Eagles fans had no idea who Zach Bond was. Like, let's be real. A year ago from today, no idea who Zach Bond was. It was more of Nakobe Dean, can Jeremiah Trotter Jr.,
right? Can
he step in? So, like, the questions that got answered throughout the season all were in a big way. And even like Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith was a question mark, and he ends up
bust. I was saying he's a bust candidate, and he ended up being unbelievable.
I ended up getting a Nolan Smith jersey because I was arguing with a buddy of mine who may or may not work at PHLY about Nolan Smith. And he pissed me off so much, I said, screw it, I'm getting his jersey.
Jamie Lynch?
No, it wasn't Jamie. It was one of the guys on the Flyer side who I don't want to call out by name, Charlie.
Oh, Charlie O'Connor.
Yeah, but we got into it, and I'm like, you know what? Screw you. I'm getting a Nolan Smith jersey. Now I'm the biggest Nolan Smith fan in the city.
Wow.
But he ends up coming on second half, and all these questions that you kind of had going into the season got answered in a positive light for the Eagles. I think they still have a lot of questions on defense. I mean, they lost some key members, but damn, like, it's hard for me to imagine they get so much worse,
Yeah, I disagree about them. Like, yeah, you lost 2 good players on defense. Like you may miss Josh Sweat a little bit. You may miss some of the depth. Milton Williams was a good player, they have right now. What the Eagles have done is that they have guys that are gonna be able to slide in Ojimo, and then as long as they keep drafting young players that can play, it's going to get easy. You spoke about Zach Bond a year ago. You're right. No one knew who he was. In training camp, they were still talking about him. They were looking at him as an edge rusher more than a linebacker. And he ends up having a top 5 defensive player of the year last year.
That was the best linebacking performance I've seen since
Ever.
Trot. But I think it's ever. But since Trot, like prime Trot.
I'm thinking during this run, because prime Trot was special, different kind of player, but Trot was dominant. When good luck, he's in the backfield all the time. Bond's a different type of player, but probably since Seth Joyner. Seth Joyner was like, and you might be a little bit too young.
I am, yeah.
Prototypical, Seth would have been a Hall of Famer if he played in today's game, because he could cover, he could play the run, he could sack the quarterback. He would force fumbles. Seth Joyner is completely underrated. He's a borderline Hall of Famer that probably doesn't get in, but man, he was so good. Zach Bond looked a little bit. I talked about it during the year. His game mirrored what Seth did back in the day, because he did it all. So, I don't know how this defense isn't good again this year unless there's significant injuries. Or here's the worry. Oh man, and I just put on my AI camera. Turn off. The worry is this: you win a Super Bowl, you're thinking pretty highly of yourself, you're not training enough in the offseason. Young guys like Jalen Carter get too full of themselves and create division in the locker room. Remember what happened last year? Not the Super Bowl year, the year before. Something went wrong. That was more than X's and O's when they fell apart during that season. Now, give the Eagles credit; they fixed it and they won last year. But I always worry what happens the year after a championship. It is so hard to win back-to-back in the NFL or really any professional league. So I mean, that's the only way I don't see the Eagles being in the deep Super Bowl conversation next year, is because things just seem to go
Yeah, we talked about the first game of the season being an in-division opponent, and for me, I'm not even looking at really the NFC, because I think they're just leaps and bounds better than every team. They would just have to worry about getting out of their own way in terms of, as you talked about, the locker room stuff. I do worry how much of a loss Brandon Graham in the room will be, because he seemed like the ultimate vibe guy, keeping everybody loose, happy, and all that. So I worry a little bit about that, but that, I feel like for me, that's looking for web toes on Margot Robbie. You're just looking for something to worry about, because this team's so good. I do think the coaching staff, i.e. Nick Sirianni and company, have learned from the mistakes of whatever happened the last time this happened, and it fell apart. So I think Jalen Hurts learned from it too. I kind of rolled my eyes at it, but it's comforting in a way. The clip of Jalen Hurts on the sideline asking Nick Sirianni, "Are you sure you want to pull us?" And they're up by 40. It's yeah, dude, we can pull you now. So I think, but that mindset is going to carry him into the season, where I don't think he allows anybody on the offensive side of the football to have that I'm the man type attitude.
But what's crazy? Hurts doesn't really seem like he's enjoying winning, right? AJ Brown, you see the videos out there. His car got stolen and he's out there working out, right? A lot of these guys, they don't seem all that happy, and that's the problem. Is when they won in 2017. Then it became about money, and everybody was a star. Doug Peterson's pimping a book during training camp.
Yep.
Nelson Aguilar's mad as hell because he didn't get a contract, and they gave Alshon new money, right? Guys got paid, other guys didn't get paid. And then you know what happens. Guys start butting heads, and when money gets involved. So, but you're right. Howie Roseman learned a lot. This is a much different team. Think about what that team, we did this last week or the week before. Think about the roster in 2018 compared to the roster in 2025 after the Super Bowls. This is a young, they have no weaknesses. What's the weakness on this team? That 2018 team was still good, but it had holes. I mean, you had mercenaries from the year before that helped you win the Super Bowl. You have a young core that is here in this team.
That you drafted. Different. Yeah. Yes. I mean, edge rushers, they're really the only hole I can think of And
Potential, yes.
and that's the thing, it's potential. It's like, because you can see guys coming in here that could fill that, where you end up looking at week 4 or 5 and go like, oh no, we're good at that position. When you start looking at depth, but like as like your big hole, most teams will have a hole and it'll be like, oh, cornerback, offensive line. You're talking starters. When you look for an Eagles hole, it's depth positions for the most part. You're looking at it like the health aspect of, if this guy gets injured, do we have enough depth? And that's a luxury. And credit to the medical staff, man, because like last year they had one starter from week 1 not finish the season. I mean, it takes a lot of luck for that to happen, but credit to the medical staff for keeping those guys healthy. So hopefully it happens again.
I want to be the first. I need help with a name, but Bryce Huff, don't sleep on him this year.
I'm sleeping on him.
Don't sleep on him. I'm just saying, because there's no expectation. I mean, you think about that. They said he was the big free agent signing. He gave you nothing, absolutely nothing.
John, I forgot he was on the team most of the time. Honestly.
Yep. So you can cut him after this year, because it's like a 3-year contract, but it's like 2+ is guaranteed. So they'll be rid of him after this year, whether he does well or not. But like, can he be like we had talked about? I don't need him to be a double-digit sack guy. I need 5, 6, 7 sacks. He needs to contribute. He needs to be a rotational guy. If he ends up playing 50% of the snaps, 40% of the snaps, great. I just need some production. He needs to replace Brandon, at least what BG gave you on the field. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, but you need somebody as a part of this rotation that can actually do something. So like I'm gonna, just like with Joe Ross, I was the first to come into the Joe Ross hive. Yep. So I'm thinking about doing the same thing with Bryce Huff.
Yeah, jump on that bandwagon, man. I'll be over here with my Nolan Smith jersey, and you can be all huffed up.
And by the way, I'm a Knicks fan. That's the other thing. But more on that in a second. Real fast, the rest of the schedule, and we'll know all of it by sometime today. Packers at the Packers, Monday Night Football, November 10th. The Black Friday game, home against the Bears. That's the 3 p.m. start on Prime, November 28th. And then December 20th. It's a Saturday game. The Eagles at the Commanders, Week 16. That could have playoff implications for either team. It could have division implications. You could be clinching a division. Just keep in mind, Pat Egan, there has not been a back-to-back winner in the NFC East since 2004. And every time we think that this is going to be different, something always happens. So just keep that in mind.
Way to throw that out there in the ether. Jeez, man. Johnny Buzzkill over here.
Well, I'm just saying. I said it. Was it last year? Because it was like, I said it last year. I'm like, all right. Oh, so everybody's going to pick the Cowboys to win. This hasn't happened. There hasn't been a back-to-back year. And until it happens, it hasn't happened. So there you go. So 4 games. What you have to do, wins and losses on the 4 games. What do you got?
4-0.
There you go.
4-0, Johnny. I think they lose 1 game this season, and that's because they sit all their starters.
Well, that could happen. I'll give them a Commanders loss. Maybe a revenge game. Maybe a revenge game against the Packers. It also matters where these games lie on the schedule. You know that. There's trap games. There's look-ahead games.
Oh, yeah,
there's
for sure.
Third game on the road. So when you see the complete schedule.
There's always going to be a team that you think sucks that ends up, overachieving and being a pretty damn good team, and vice versa. Right. Let me ask you a question, though, real quick. Do you think there's any thought when they play the Packers about the tush push and about, a little extra motivation to stick it to them?
Did you hear Saquon Barkley talk about it at the Met Gala? ESPN got him or whatever.
I muted all Met Gala notifications.
Well, I just I saw him in the tuxedo and he looked very nice. But Nick Sirianni's good at one thing, and more than one thing, but this in particular. And I think the players don't even need to buy into it anymore because they're there. I talked about leading up to the Super Bowl that if Nick Sirianni, and one of his strengths is really like the players buy into what he does, his thing, like the speech that he gives the night before or whatever. And that whole week leading up to the Super Bowl, every player on that team was like, man, they're not beating us. We're better than them. And then it's like, all right, well, what can we use? And it was how they were already getting the T-shirts printed. When the Eagles were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2004, Bill Belichick used that the city was like, okay, well, the parade got out what day they were going to have the parade if they won, right? The Eagles didn't do that. the city needs to plan for a potential parade and what day it would be. But Belichick, he doesn't have to give that context. He has to say, they're already planning the parade. They already have a win. And that team was so pissed off by the time that game happened. Look at the result. They're up 35-0 in the third quarter. I still can't believe it. So Nick Sirianni, I believe, and that team is already pissed about the league going after the tush push, and they're essentially going to eliminate a great thing that they can do because it can't be stopped. So that's a long way of saying, yes, I think there's going to be the Eagles are going to use that as motivation heading into that game. Absolutely. It's a great point. Great point. Love
I hope so, man.
That's going to be fun. All right. So your team, your town, your 76ers get the third pick last night. Kevin Negandhi tried to ruin it for everybody. And he did for a short period of time, but then he corrected himself.
How did he do it? I missed that. I was in a movie so I was literally in a movie and I'm watching it, but I had my phone under my hoodie watching the draft lottery as the movie was going on.
I could import it right now, but I don't feel like it. So I'll just tell you. So I was actually, I was at my daughter's softball game. So I was refreshing. And Negandhi says, oh, that means the Philadelphia 76ers have fallen out of the top 6 and they will not get their draft pick. That will go to OKC. And then they announced number 7.
What?
Yeah. All right. I got to find out. But yeah, so then
wow, that's crazy.
Then they announced number 7 and then they go number 6. And when they announce number 6, it's like, well, you haven't announced this, like the Sixers yet. Like what's going on? They would like, now they have to be the pick. And then that's Negandhi corrected himself.
He just messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? I mean, whatever. It happens. I don't care. But it was just like, and I wasn't watching live either. So I can imagine people's stomach dropped and like, oh my God, like F this, F Daryl Morey, trade Joel Embiid, get out of here. And then just like
5 minutes later, it's a 180. Yeah.
5 minutes later, now everybody knows every like Ace Bailey or whatever the hell his name is. Everybody's an expert on the Rutgers players. But yeah, they got it. And thank God they did. So now everybody says this is a 2-player draft. Cooper Flagg's going to go to the Mavs. Everybody that I read and says Dylan Harper is going to go to the Spurs, which means there's 4 or 5 guys that are going to be considered to go number 3. And it sure seems like pretty quickly, you've heard people say it's a 2-player draft to a 3-player draft. And Ace Bailey of Rutgers will be the player that goes to the Sixers at 3. Your thoughts on it? I know you're big into Rutgers basketball, so you've been following him the entire year. Your thoughts?
I mean, this is like a minor concern, but Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper came in very highly touted, and Rutgers didn't make the tournament. What that means, I don't know. I know for some Ben Simmons people, when Ben Simmons was coming in, that was a big concern. Was like, this guy's supposed to be the future, and he can't even take LSU to the tourney. And for me, it's like, well, both these guys, I mean, how into it were they? And does it even matter? But look, the most important thing is that you kept your pick. And not only that, but you moved up. For me, it's not even about whether these guys can necessarily play and all that, because I haven't watched them. I mean, neither of you. Most people
neither have I.
Yeah, Rutgers basketball. It's like this team has not really developed when it's been drafting that highly, because they kind of cater to these kids, whether it be Ben Simmons comes in, highly touted. You don't have to work on a jump shot. You're good. Do whatever you want. You want to sit out the entire season with a broken foot that should take you 2 months to heal? Go ahead. Joel Embiid, don't worry about your diet, big man. Like, it's all good. Oh, you want to do a windmill dunk with no shoes on? Go ahead. Break your foot. Markelle Fultz, right? Like, oh, you want to go train with some guy who's going to tell you your shot's broken even though it's not? Go ahead. Like, you got to stop it now, because I don't want a history. There's already history, but I want to stop the history now, because if you get an impact guy, it could go a long way with actually getting over the hump and being with this team. We all thought this team was supposed to be when they signed Paul George, and they teamed him up with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and, the whole gang. Yeah,
so this Ace Bailey dude, like, he apparently is the rawest of all of them that could be drafted third. He's not even 19. He didn't turn 19 until August. And just reading up on him, he's not 6'10", as he's like me. I'm listed at 5'10". I'm not 5'10". He's like 6'7.5", but still he's got the big wingspan, super athletic. he has a shot. He's just raw. And there's questions about like last year decision making and things like that. This is what I've read. Kyle Neubeck did a really good write up on everybody that could be available at allphly.com. But like, I mean, I don't. Does Daryl Morey want somebody that's not ready to play right now and not ready to really? Because we didn't think McCain was going to play all that much, and he was he was involved early when you saw he could play. But you wonder if Morey is looking for somebody that's more of a he can help us next year. Because guess what, dude's on the hot seat, man. Yeah. Like if you lose in the second round, if you don't make it past the second round again, and it's kind of ugly when you lose, the Sixers love to lose in ugly fashion in the playoffs. Does he survive? Or does he kind of be like, he negotiates a buyout because he realizes he's got no shot? I don't know. But I mean, you hope you take what's best for the franchise. And I think ultimately you will, but it doesn't mean they're going to help you next year.
I wonder how much of a say Nick Nurse will have in this, because Nick Nurse's player development is tremendous. I mean, you look at his history. Pascal Siakam drafted 27th. He helped him out a lot. Scotty Barnes. Kyle Lowry wasn't necessarily the player that he was when he arrived in Toronto.
No.
He became Kyle Lowry when he was playing under Nick Nurse. Jared McCain, you talked about that. Like, Nick Nurse is really, really good at helping these guys, and Fred VanVleet's another one. So I wonder how much of a say he'll have in it. I mean, is it a situation where if, Nick Nurse likes a certain player, but Daryl Morey differs on it, but Nick Nurse is pounding the table, will he listen to him? And will he go with who his head coach wants versus who he thinks is the better guy? Because I think he's so fidgety right now to win that I don't really trust his decision making all that much.
I don't think Nick Nurse is going to sway what Daryl Morey wants to do.
Yeah, see, that's troubling. Like, I would definitely pick his brain about what he thinks and take it into take a lot of value in it.
I'm not saying he won't do that, but he could get fired too. So like, he's not going to be like, oh well. He's always out of breath. It's like Nick said that you could use this. He really likes Ed Scover or whatever. God, and he hates that we talk about it. Well, I say we, but he hates that we talk about it. I used to talk about it on the radio. Actually, Joshua Harris, when he first bought the Sixers and he was doing press conferences, he used to have this nervous when he would talk. And he's terrible. And I came up with the old "Let Me Clear My Throat" song.
Yeah.
And I put his coughs in there where he goes, let me clear my throat. And the Sixers got so mad at me. You have no, he was so mad because we were the flagship at the time. And it's like, like, oh, would you shut up? Give me a break. Anyway.
There was a certain member of the show that I was on who got a talking to because he made fun of the jersey sponsor. The program director at the time got a call because he tweeted out about the jersey sponsor. And it was basically just saying, like, who really cares? That crypto.com is like on your jersey now.
Right.
And the Sixers took offense to it.
Well, I mean, see, that's why Pat, you never tweet it, you just say it.
Yeah.
That's what
you don't make audio vignettes about it, you just say it.
You say it. You say it. Yeah, you don't need to put it on social media so it lives forever.
What's funny too is whoever is making that call or email, they probably agree with you. They just have to make the call or email.
Right. But a good program director would he may tell, I don't know if it was John or who you're talking about, but he may tell him like, hey, just lay off the whatever. Like, I don't really care.
That's basically exactly what happened.
Because you know what, like, and I can tell you this, I know that the teams bitched to Spike about things that I did. He never one time said anything to me. And there's only a couple instances that he came to me and said, like maybe once or twice, and I don't even remember what they are, where he came to me and said, listen, please don't talk about this. This is a really sensitive issue right now. And it's always like one time, do you remember when Brizgala fell asleep in the meetings and it got leaked to, was it Harry?
Yeah, it was Harry Mays. Yeah,
Harry. Harry went on the air and reported that Brizgala was sleeping in the meetings. And I don't know who leaked it to him. And I have half of a brain. The Flyers obviously put it out there because they wanted it in the media because they hated the freaking guy. Yeah. Right. The problem was Matt Nahagian, our program director, didn't give the Flyers a heads up that he was going to say it. And the Flyers were pissed that they heard about it when Harry said it on the air, reported it on the air, right? So I go in that day and I'm working middays, and he's like, "You can't talk about it." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You can't talk about it." I'm like, that's BS. And he literally got John Fulham, our market manager, on the phone, and they said I'd be terminated if I talked about it on the air.
Listen, it's a bad look for us right now.
No,
I want to win.
And me at the time, like, I'm working with Sean Brace, like, I felt safe about my job. We were doing pretty well, but like, I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
If I had to do it all over again, I would have done it anyway. So I called Mike Missinelli and I'm like, "Dude, what do I do?" And he goes, it's tough, man. If they're telling you that they'll fire you for saying it, like, it's tough. And so he went on the air and talked about it right away, of course, because they weren't going to fire him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, like, it was the one time that I didn't talk about it. What we did was we played music in and out of breaks that had to do with sleeping.
That was your silent protest.
And then I was playing the Three Stooges, like, drop throughout the show.
How did Matt take that?
He didn't say anything to me about it, but
John, I know what you're doing. You know?
Yeah, but you know why? Because it was he effed up by not giving him a heads up. That's the point. So that was damage control for him, and Matt's my guy. So
yeah, I love Matt.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. All right, we've talked a long time. Let's end here, Pegan. And it's the Phillies rained out last night, got a doubleheader today, and I'll just say this, because these are now our two guys. Joe Ross, I'm the president of the Joe Ross Hive. I'm the queen bee.
Ross is boss.
After I was bragging last time I had you on, he had 2 straight outings where he gave up runs. So his ERA is over 4. I don't want to talk about him anymore. He's a good pitcher. You screwing with his head.
He's a good pitcher.
He is a good pitcher.
You've convinced yourself of this.
No, he is a good pitcher.
Joe Ross doesn't believe he's a good pitcher. Joe Ross goes around the city and tells people he's Jose Alvarado to get a free drink. Like, what are we talking about?
Shut up. Leave him alone. He is good. You're such an a-hole.
You're like the Sixers PR department right now.
Why do you pick on Joe Ross? Why can't he just be good? He's a $3 million reliever.
He sucks.
No, he doesn't suck. All right. Rank the bullpen right now. Give me your number one and keep going down. Who's the best bullpen arm?
Alvarado.
2.
Strom.
All right, 3.
Oh God.
I don't want to say Kerkering, but I don't know where else I go.
Yeah, it's got to be Kerkering, and I don't
but
like
you know
that
what?
either.
I think Romano's going to be better. Romano has looked good recently.
I'll tell you what, though, I hated the fact that he closed out a game.
That was an easy inning, man. He was throwing that slider for a strike. He looked good.
For him, I don't think there's ever, like, it worked out, but it goes back to my big complaint of Rob Thompson. Like, I need a solidified role, and putting him in there in a 3-run game, he's not. Once again, it worked out. I don't like it. I'm never going to be comfortable with him coming into a game.
All right, so is he 4 if Kerkering's 3?
No, Kerkering's 3. I guess he would be. Taijuan Walker would be 4.
Oh, shut up! You don't even know what he's going to look like out there. He looked great the first time out.
I'm putting him 4. Next week he could be last. I don't know. Right now he's 4. Joe Ross 5. I'll put Joe Ross. Joe Ross. Yeah, you look at you're going
ahead of
Joe Ross over Romano.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. And Ruiz over Ruiz too.
Yeah,
and who's on the IL right now with a neck injury? Yeah, Hernandez sucks.
Yeah,
that's just designated for assignment right now. All right, well there you go. And yeah, you texted me because Aaron Nola was on at the bar, so you had to watch the start. And listen, you got a start you were looking for, where he wasn't good. He gave you the Aaron Nola start.
I don't take any pride in it, but it's on the bar that I'm at.
You do a little bit.
I have to watch it, and it's like, this is the typical Aaron Nola BS that drives me nuts. It's like 6 innings, 4 earned runs, and then people will pop on Twitter and say, "Oh, well, he didn't get any run support," as if that would matter. Like, he didn't pitch well.
Yeah, he never gets run support. 1-6 with a 4.89 ERA. He had 2 good starts before that. But I know, like, it's not satisfaction that he's failing. It's satisfaction for the losers out there that all of a sudden are the biggest Aaron Nola fans in the world.
Yeah, I got plenty of tweets after the second good start of the season. By the way, we're in May now.
No, but you can say he's a quality starter that doesn't deserve the contract. Or I say I would never have signed him to that contract.
I hated the contract.
I did too. I mean, you didn't sign Taijuan Walker. Like Taijuan Walker can't pitch. Well, maybe now he can. At least you know what you're getting from Aaron Nola. I'm not saying that he can't be a good piece in the rotation, the 4 starter. But you really want to pay that much money to the 4 starter? The answer is no. He was brought back. He was brought back because they didn't want to lose him to the Braves. John Middleton didn't want to lose his draft pick. That's been one of the most successful draft picks that he's had as a pitcher. And that's why he's back. It's more nostalgia than anything. It's certainly not the way he pitches.
And that's the thing. I hated it mainly because of the nostalgia factor, the money factor, the fact that I don't think he's, very consistent. But also, they have young pitchers on the way up. I mean, Andrew Painter, I don't think you can count him this year, but he's at AAA. Dude, I mean, I don't know if you've seen what all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Larry Anderson?
Yeah, Larry. No, Mick Abel's been one of the best pitchers in AAA right now, and there's no spot for these guys. And there's no spot for him this year. There's no spot for him next year.
Yep.
So like you're now looking at Mick Abel probably being traded at the deadline for something. Because there's just no room for him because you signed Aaron Nola to $27 million over 7 years.
Yeah. All right, we're I gotta go.
All right, then leave.
I gotta go.
I'll take the show over. Leave.
It's too long. So we have to get to the bet. We have commercials that are coming up here on TV with the PARX parlay of the day. So Pat Egan, thank you very much, buddy.
All right, goodbye.
All right, there he is, Pat. All right, there is Pat Egan with a lot to talk about. Good stuff from Pat. All right, we'll come back. The PARX parlay of the day. We were rained out in our parlay last night. So PARX parlay of the day. Pete Rose now eligible for the Hall of Fame. So is Shoeless Joe Jackson. What the hell is the commissioner doing? We'll discuss that right after this Philly with John Marks, PHLY. Don't go anywhere. All right. You don't go anywhere because we're talking about PARX. That's right. We have a double dipper today, double header down at Citizens Bank Park. Live bet Philadelphia baseball all day, early and often. Bet on who's going to hit home runs. Bet pitchers, strikeouts, hitters, RBIs, and more. Bet individual player performance in baseball. Live bet it all. Watch and wager with your team. Live betting's great, but also what about the pro basketball playoffs? Has been amazing. 2 games tonight. Closeout games as well. The PARX online sportsbook and casino app has you covered, whether you're betting your favorite teams or if you want to maybe roll with some live dealer blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, hot online slots. They really have it all. There's always another way to win on the PARX sportsbook and online casino app. It's the only app I would ever use to wager on sports and to play all your favorite casino games. And right now, new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Just go to betparx.com, download the app, enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for PARX. You love to play, you play to win, you bet PARX. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hoo-ah. All right, Ashley, the low prices are blooming, so spring in the savings at Ashley Furniture. Save up to 50% off living rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms, and you're getting it all delivered for free. How about top mattresses, top brand mattresses? You're getting free delivery. You're getting free setup and removal. They'll take that old mattress out of there, but don't wait. Spring in the savings now at Ashley, South Jersey, and Philadelphia. Financings with approved credit. Minimum purchase is required. Some exclusions may apply. See store for complete details. Hurry to Ashley. Visit ashleyfurniture.com for more information. And PHLY is partnering with Ashley to host the Ashley Fan Cave Sweepstakes to give one lucky participant a chance to win a brand new Mod Max modular sectional to watch the next big game, plus an additional $1,000 Visa gift card to bring your dream fan cave to life. Just go to allphly.com/Ashley, allphly.com/Ashley. Check it out, ashleyfurniture.com. Hooah. We are back. with a minute or two on Pete Rose and what the commissioner did yesterday. But first, it's time for our PARX parlay of the day. All right, I got something good for you tonight. All right, let me pull it up here. All right, so I was looking at the NBA playoffs, and I'm like, all right, I don't. The value's not there to take Minnesota on the money line, and 11.5 points is a lot. And you wonder, the Celtics are favored in this game. That's a Celtic line. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't have. So I'm hitting 2 individual player performance in that Celtic Knick game. I'm going to go Jalen Brunson. I hit with him the other night. So it is a 25 plus point. So if he hits 25, you win. So Jalen Brunson plus 25 in the point department, and Derek White with Jason Tatum out. I'm a big fan of Derek White, underrated player. He has to take a back seat a lot of times in scoring and things like that because of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. He gets his as well. But Derek White, 25 points, rebounds, and assists. So Derek White, we're taking 25 or over on points, rebounds, and assists combined. And then Jalen Brunson, 25 points or more. That's minus 108. So we're going to bet 108 to win 100. Not the best odds in the world for a parlay, but I love the chances on this one. So so take those two, minus 108 to win 100. And that is the PARX parlay of the day. All right. It was a really, 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 really weird that yesterday comes out. And I mean, I noticed it and I heard the stories. Donald Trump, President Trump had really been laying it on thick in the media and on social media about Major League Baseball. They should allow Pete Rose to be eligible for the Hall of Fame or to put him in the Hall of Fame. And listen, I try to stay away from all things political, especially on this show, but in general in life, I just have no interest in politics. And I think it is I think it is an opinion from somebody that isn't a sports fan and doesn't really understand sports, that just Pete Rose, he's the hit king, put him in the Hall of Fame. It's more complicated than that. And Pete Rose is an absolute creep who's had opportunities. If he would have met conditions, they would have reinstated him and he would have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago, or at least he would have been eligible for the Hall of Fame a long time ago. Bud Selig, about 15 years ago, said, hey, if you stop doing casino appearances, if you stop betting on sports, if you change your image in your life as far as the gambling stuff, then we can come to an agreement. And he wouldn't do it. Pete Rose is a creep. He bet on baseball as a manager, which is even worse than betting as a player. As long as you're not betting against your team as a player, you shouldn't do it, and you can't do it. But as a manager, whether or not you even realize what you're doing, and Pete Rose was down big money to multiple bookies, and he was involved with really, really bad people. So if you're down $60,000 and you don't have that money to pay, and you're going from bookie to bookie, you're betting with one bookie because you owe the other bookies 50 grand and you owe another bookie 50 grand. Are you going to do what is right for your team and trying to win that game? And that means you're not going to pitch your closer on a third straight game because that's not the right thing to do? Or are you using your players based on you needing to win the game because that's all that matters, because you need to think about it. Is it fixing the game? I mean, really it is. It really is. So he's never been accused of betting against his team. I've never said he bet against his team. I've never thought he bet against his team. As the manager of a baseball team, you cannot be betting on the outcome of your game. It's insane. And if he would have come clean a long time ago, he would have been allowed back in baseball. He denied for almost 20 years that he never bet, not one time. He didn't even say he bet as a player. He never admitted to betting. He said, I never bet, never bet, never bet. It's not true. And then when he had a book published that he made money off of, where he finally admitted that he bet, but it was only on his team to win, as if that made anything better. So, even regardless of that, Pete Rose is dead. And I'm so tired of the conversation. So Rob Manfred yesterday decided, hey, now I'm going to take this. Not going to be my decision. He more or less passed the buck and said, all right, Pete Rose is now eligible as far as baseball is concerned, because the Hall of Fame isn't baseball. That's not Major League Baseball. That's a separate entity. So now the Veterans Committee or Hall of Famers or whatever, because he's dead. And he said, oh, well, it's a lifetime ban. And Pete Rose is dead. So like, if the Veterans Committee, if the Hall of Famers want to put him in the Hall of Fame, put him in the Hall of Fame. I'm so done thinking about this or caring about this. I'm just so tired of it. It's just ridiculous that it's happening now, probably because of political pressure, that Rob Manfred is just passing the buck. It's honestly, it's ridiculous. What about Roger Clemens? What about Barry Bonds? What about the great players that aren't in the Hall of Fame that aren't probably going to make the Hall of Fame because of steroids? And there should be conversations about that. But now Pete Rose is all of a sudden he's eligible for the Hall of Fame. And I don't know if he's actually going to get in. And then Shoeless Joe Jackson, who actually fixed the game as a player, he took money. What are we talking about here? He's been dead since 1951. Why are we doing this? What are we doing? Who asked for this? It was absolutely ridiculous. So it was up to me. Pete Rose ain't getting in the Hall of Fame. He's a creep. All the above. And I believe that people deserve second chances. And I love Pete Rose. I've done events with Pete Rose. Pete Rose, as like a baseball dude talking baseball with, is unbelievable. He's an amazing resource. The stories he tells, the at-bats that he remembers, he can go through at-bats and what pitchers are throwing him and things like that. Like it's a damn shame. It's a shame. It is. It's a shame that it had to end like this and Pete died still being disgraced, but I put that on Pete Rose, not on baseball. And people that don't understand, like the president putting political pressure to put the hit king in the Hall of Fame. You don't understand. And I don't care anymore. Pete Rose is dead. If you want to put him in the Hall of Fame now, for whatever reason, put him in the Hall of Fame now. What is it going to do? It's not going to do anything. This morning, a lot of other games are already starting to be released or leaked. CBS announced this morning that the Cowboys on Thanksgiving will host the Chiefs. That's right. That'll be a good one. So Cowboys and the Eagles, Cowboys and the Chiefs. The Chiefs will host the Broncos on Christmas night. So you have some major players here in the National Football League, of course, getting the big time primetime games. All right, so if you've been watching on TV, it's time to slide on over to allphly.com because we're officially in overtime. There you go. All right, so Anthony is live right now. So we'll be live in like a second. He's ready to go. Just stay tuned to the network all day long. The PHLY Eagles guys are going to have you locked and loaded as the schedule will be released today. And we'll be eagerly awaiting the different leaks and filling in the blanks and connecting dots. And tomorrow when we join you live at 8 a.m., yes, we will know the Eagles schedule and we can go through it with wins and losses. That's coming up tomorrow. By the way, as we normally mention at allphly.com, you should become a diehard because you're not getting coverage anywhere like this, whether it's the Sixers with Kyle and Derek and Devon or Eagles coverage, which, as you saw during the run, the Super Bowl run, and then free agency, and then the draft, is amazing. It's the best in the city by far. But also PHLY Daily. I know I've been seeing a lot of Rich Hoffman on the network in a lot of different shows. He is the editor of PHLY Daily. You can subscribe. It's totally free at allphly.com. It's your morning sports page delivered right to your inbox. And it's something I use as a resource and also as a sports fan, except it's everything in one email. Embedded tweets, highlights from the games the night before, stuff that happened on the network, Rich's opinions on things. It's really, really good. It's like getting the Philadelphia Daily News if you're a newspaper reader from back in the day. It's like getting that sent to your inbox every day. And it's totally free. Allphly.com to get that. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow live at 8 a.m. Switch on over to Ant. He is live. Julia Hoff getting up early this morning to help produce the show. Thank you very much, Julia. We'll talk to you tomorrow live at 8 a.m. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.